I can no longer tell the difference between a good and a bad hair day. Things you love when you're an ENFP. Uninhibited rawness and authenticity. I think I fall in love a little bit with anyone who shows me their soul. This world is so guarded and fearful. I appreciate rawness so much. ENFPs want to live authentically, but they also want to strip away the pretensions of others. Just like an ENTP might poke and prod a person's logic and reasoning, ENFPs poke a person's soul. They want to, in the nicest possible way, boil you down into your most raw, constituent ingredients and see what delicious recipes might present themselves from that. Insincerity is just off-putting to them. They'll either retreat from it or power through it, depending on the ENFP in question. They want something real, something raw and unfiltered, a kind of radical authenticity. All of the high FI types value this to a certain extent. ENFPs are like novelty-seeking missiles. And what could be more novel or unique than a person's authentic self? I think that's one of the reasons why they find individuals so compelling, and people when they are in groups so unsettling. That also gives them the egalitarian mindset that I associate with them so much. Instead of being people who will often adjust to account for an entire group or community in the way that an ENFJ might, ENFPs take the approach of dealing with one individual at a time. I think for them, something objectively impressive will always be outshone by something flawed but real. Offbeat exploration. Still round the corner. There may wait a new road or secret gate. I view ENFPs as a fundamentally explorative type. And this really isn't limited to any area. It might be ideational exploration, or intellectual in nature, scientific and creative maybe. They might simply want to explore their own emotions and emotional reactions to things. And they might also want to literally travel. ENFPs want to find the unusual, the offbeat, and the unexpected whenever possible. Instead of visiting a famous tourist attraction, they'd want to stumble across a hidden gem, perhaps someplace known only to the locals. Maybe they'd simply want to start up a conversation with someone who they have no business usually talking to. It's about finding what other people might miss or overlook and undervalue. But also, much like the last point, it's about finding the authentic core of a place or a person or an idea. Hypothetically, if you were a tour guide for an ENFP, in order to give them a satisfying experience, you would need to go to some place that not even you've visited before. Then it's a true adventure that allows for actual discovery. They are still intuitive types and intuitive dominant types, so often the possibility and potential is more important than what will be actualized. Many ENFPs will indeed feel a level of wanderlust to actually travel, and they will do that, but lots of the time, strange as it seems, simply pondering the idea of going somewhere or living somewhere can be a very enjoyable experience for them. They don't necessarily have to go and do it. As I mentioned in a recent INFP video, because our imaginations can have such a prominent physiological effect on us, it's not like an imaginative adventure is not a real one, because it does have real effects. Being challenged and challenging. The essence of the independent mind lies not in what it thinks, but in how it thinks. So I wanted to add this one because usually this is associated very much with ENTPs, and rightly so. But it's also something that ENFPs strongly desire too. I think they have a reputation as being people who stick to their own personal beliefs and values, even in the face of evidence to the contrary, which is not the case. They are constantly re-examining their beliefs to see whether they still resonate with them, often reinventing and updating everything from their values, tastes, and appearances. They are ever-changing creatures, even if it's just in subtle ways. When someone calls them out on something, perhaps pointing out a contradiction, even if they might push back against it at first, ultimately they'll enjoy the challenge and intellectual combat. There's nothing like a good cerebral sparring partner to ignite the ENFP ferocity. And charming as they might be most of the time, if you catch them in the right mood, you'll find yourself very challenged as well. If you are an ENFP, please like and subscribe and support my journey towards ENFP hair. Also feel free to join the Love Who Discord server, where I will be waiting patiently for you.